Alan, I was so impressed with how you and your team were able to handle the first trial and the second trial, but it did feel so drastically different, the way in which you decided to handle witnesses. And the first trial seemed like there was just bombshell after bombshell. It was much more McAlbert's heavy, while the second trial was much more database. What went into the decision to kind of switch things up and choose to go down that road at the second time around?
There wasn't a marked difference in what our theme and theory of the case was. As a matter of fact, there was no difference in what our theme and theory of the case was, which is the SUV never hit John. He wasn't killed by being hit by a car. That's the basic postulate. In the second trial, it was very clear that the prosecution was going to do something different. They were going to try to style themselves as a data-driven prosecution. We knew that the data helped us. So any trial lawyer has to do this. You have to be committed to your cause, but you also have to be able to be up on the balls of your feet. You have to be able to be nimble and pivot with the prosecution, because you're not just parrying, you're defending, but you're also, to a certain degree, you're on the offense as well. So what we decided to do was shift and learn from the first trial that I wanted to press much harder on reasonable doubt and undermining everything they say about the data, because the data actually served our purposes. The data proved that the car did not hit, it did not collide with John O'Keefe. And so that's what you saw in the second trial, is a much more sort of tactical approach. They didn't call certain witnesses. They didn't call Brian Higgins. They didn't call Brian Albert. There were big witnesses that they just forwent altogether. We knew that there was a chance they would do that. We didn't know until they closed their case who they were and weren't going to call. They didn't have to tell us in advance what their trial strategy was. But we were ready and able to sort of pivot on the move to not just defend against what they were presenting data-wise, but to attack them for not calling people like, oh, I don't know, how about Michael Proctor, the lead investigator on whose shoulders you base the entire prosecution, and you don't call him. So we knew that there was going to be some shifts, and part of being a good trial lawyer is to be able to make those shifts sort of on the fly, and that's what we did, and we did it with Karen's approval and with the rest of the team's approval.
Alan, you discussed objectivity. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you miss Judge Bev?
Oh, my God. That's a whopper. If I go the rest of my life and never have to walk into a room with Judge Bev, God bless her, it'll be too soon. Yeah.